a little additional on the mirroring part, and some examples of mirroring here on screen, um, is how you can then turn that into leading. Now, of course, here on screen, perfect example. He's such a great example of this, and he's I think it's a big part of why Barack Obama was so found to be so charismatic when he was speaking, and so easily understandable. You know, he felt like he had a great connection with the people he was speaking to, was because, of course, he was very, very good at mirroring. And you'll find that many politicians do this. And although it's obvious on screen right now what it is that he's doing, I don't think I ever noticed it in any news article or anything that I saw. But people with a keen eye were looking for it. And of course, many politicians do this. Mirroring, of course, can be non-verbal and should be, I think. It shouldn't always be the words that they use. But the physical aspect of mirroring can be so hard to do because you need to do it in a way that no one notices. You don't notice, they don't notice, and the people that are watching around you don't notice. Because if anyone does notice, then you're going to find yourself feeling very awkward. And that, of course, is going to cause an awkward feeling. Now, the interesting thing is that when you make that connection and you have mirrored with the customer, you're making that extra effort to really trigger the mirror neurons in their brain. What you'll find is that you can then change how things go as the call progresses, and you'll find that they will begin mirroring you. Now, the best example I can give of this, and I think it only could be an example, I think it's a very hard thing to show when I'm in a presentation. But of course, if you ever find me on a call, you'll probably find that I do this. But I do this actually with breathing, funnily. So it goes as far as that, where when speaking to an angry customer, you've all at some point spoken to someone who's potentially abusive, someone who's very upset, someone who's extremely frustrated. What you'll find is that they are breathing very quickly and shallow, kind of up about here. I don't know if you can see this in my screen there, sort of about very kind of here, right, just very top of the lungs. And of course, it's very quick pace, and they keep talking. And what they need to do is, I'm sorry, I need to get a hard drive, I need to do this, and it's really frustrating me. I'm sick of this. It's the second time I've had to call in Dell. I'm working from home, it's stressing me out. They're here, right? They're only breathing this short kind of space, where very quick breaths. Now, what happens, of course, with that, and you can practice it, I can feel it myself, your adrenaline rises and you get more and more anxious and more frustrated. Now, what, of course, if you make a successful connection and you get the customer to say, "That's right, David, that's right," you find that they've made that connection, and you may have mirrored words back to them, and you say, okay, you know, and you use their language or their tone of voice or their pace back to them. Once you've made that connection, if successful, you can then change the entire dynamic of that. And what I would do on a lot of calls, and still to this day do, is I would slow my breathing right down. And when I'm on a call, there is a very specific pace at which I speak when I'm speaking to customers. And I try absolutely not to change the tone of voice that I'm doing. And when you're doing that and you're in a particular tone of voice, you will find that they will relax, and they'll get to a point where they allow the adrenaline to kind of stop a little bit. And if again you're successful in that first 2 minute window where you really make an effort to make a connection and understand the customer from their point of view, that you can begin changing the dynamic by this. And this is kind of what you're seeing here, is either one of these two people, either Barack Obama himself or, of course, the person whom he's standing with, has led the situation. They've made a connection, and someone has done something to cause the other person to do it. It's a very fascinating thing. If you ever watch Derren Brown, he also does this in a very tricky, magic way, right? But it's fascinating nonetheless. So if you make the effort to make that connection and you get that's right and you get that confirmation, don't be afraid to change it slightly, slow things down, and help the customer understand things will be okay. They can trust you, and you can go ahead and get all the information you need. Give that a go and see how you get on.